Hello class. Hello class. Welcome back to another session of physics. We are dealing with thermodynamics, and in today's class we are going to learn about the definitions of second law of thermodynamics. Right? And in the previous classes we have seen the concepts of different types of thermodynamic processes such as isothermal process, adiabatic process, uh, cyclic process, reversible process, irreversible process, isobaric process, isochoric process, right? All that different processes you should remember. Equation of state equation, that is PV is equals to nRT, which is governed by internal energy of the system. Different parameters what talks about the different types of systems are. One of the important parameter is state of the system. Internal energy is determined. Internal energy is defined in terms of state of the system, right? Now I have one question before going to the second law of thermodynamics. I have one question. I just want to hear answers from you, so get ready to answer it. The question is, get ready to answer the question. The question is, what is the equation which is governing adiabatic process? What is the equation which is governing if an ideal gas is obeying adiabatic process? Then how do we represent that equation? I want to hear answers from you. How do we represent that equation? I have already told that in the previous class. That's what I'm asking you. How do we represent that equation? Somebody answered. Yeah, very good, Manasa. That's fine. PV power gamma is equals to constant. Why I'm starting with this is I just want to give you some information on this. Adiabatic process is governed by the equation given by PV power gamma is equals to constant. We are aware of this, right? So you should know this. You should know that adiabatic process is governed by the equation PV power gamma is equals to constant. What is gamma here? Again, one more question. What is gamma? What is gamma? Gamma. Boda Rajesh answered, right? That is, gamma is defined as a ratio of specific heats given by Cp by Cv. Ratio of specific heat. Manasa, very good. Ratios of specific. Yeah, Pravalika, Lakshmana, so nice, so sweet of you. Very nice. Right, you're answering this. Now, this is what the basic equation of a system which means a gas of a system which is undergoing Shravani, right? Cp by Cv, right? Which is undergoing adiabatic process governed by the equation PV power gamma is equals to constant, where gamma is called as a ratio of specific heats, and it is going to have different values for different types of gases. Gamma value is going to be different for different types of gases. Now I'm not remembering that values, but we define that gases in terms of monoatomic gas. We define those gases as what? Monoatomic gas, diatomic gas, and triatomic gas. Mostly we will come across these three, and one more is polyatomic. What I'm trying to tell you now, whatever the gamma you say, gamma is going to be some fixed value for monoatomic gas. I don't remember the exact value. I think it is 1.2. I'm not remembering that exact number. I'm just taking some random, some generalized thing. I think it is 1.2. I need to verify this again. I need to cross check this. I just come directly without checking that numbers, but not an issue. Gamma is going to have some specific value for a monoatomic gas. Gamma value is going to be some specified value for a diatomic gas. You need to now understand that different types of gases we have. Gases are categorized into different types like this. It could be a monoatomic, it could be diatomic gas, it could be triatomic gas, or it could be more than 3, that is in the form of polyatomic gas. All these things is going to have different types of gamma values, and once you are solving problems, he says in the question that the gas is a monoatomic. A monoatomic gas expands from V1 to V2, or diatomic gas expands from P to P1 to P2. So when he says mono or di, you should be in a position to identify its gamma value. He will not say that gamma is something like this. Or gamma value of, or in now, because now we are not dealing with the values. In the exams, we will provide you the values of gamma, but what you should know now, you should know from now on that Monoatomic gases will have certain specified gamma values. Diatomic gases will have some fixed specified gamma values. If in any question paper you come across a monoatomic gas and in the bracket they provide you the gamma value as 3/2, then for all monoatomic gases gamma value is 3/2. It will not change from textbook to textbook. It is common, universally constant values these are. Mono, I'm telling you that if it says in one question that gamma is 3/2 for monoatomic, secondly you may come across one more question for monoatomic. Then you can make use of this gamma if needed at that point. If he forgets to use that value of gamma in that question, you make use of this. What I'm trying to tell you, hope that is clear. My point here is that different types of gases, gamma we say ratio of specificates, it is going to have some constant value for types of gases. How many types of gases we have? We have 4 different types of gases in the form of monoatomic, diatomic, triatomic and polyatomic. If I refer the textbook, I can let you know the values also, but I'm not doing that. We can just remember that monoatomic gases will have constant gamma values. Diatomic gases will have constant gamma values. Triatomic gases, he will say either in the question either a monoatomic or the value of gamma, but right now in the exams we provide both the things. A monoatomic will have a gamma value given like this. Is this point clear? First of all, now this equation, one more continuation of this equation, PV power gamma is equals to some constant K, can also be modified to some other forms if needed. This is a relation which is talking about pressure and volume for adiabatic process. In adiabatic process, pressure and volume are connected like this. Now in the same adiabatic process, how to connect pressure and temperature? I want to talk about the variation of pressure and temperature in adiabatic process. Can you modify this equation now? Means this is not the only equation. Why is this blurring image? It's blurred, right? I just want to fix it. Yes, it's now fine, right? For adiabatic process, pressure and volume are related by this equation. Now for the same adiabatic process, I want to talk about the relationship between pressure and temperature. I don't want volume to be existing there. Can you now modify, or I can now say that this is one form of the equation for adiabatic process. Now second form is governing pressure and temperature. How can you replace this volume by temperature? Since we know that since PV is equals to nRT, or nR is constant, you can ignore that. PV is equals to T, or you want to write this in terms of T, right? So what you can say, V is equals to T by P. If V is equals to T by P, what this equation? Now I can replace this V by means of T by P. I want to write relationship between only pressure and temperature. I don't want volume to be existing there. However, with what I can replace that volume? From PV is equals to nRT, since this is constant, PV is equals to T, or V is equals to T by P. Now using that V is equals to T by P, check out how the second form is going to be obtained. P times of, this is T by P power of gamma is equals to K. How can you modify this? P power 1 into P power gamma into P power minus gamma. Yes or no? Because if you take P to the top, it becomes -1. P inverse power gamma is minus gamma. Or how these two are now converting, this is equals to K. How these two are now modifying, P to the power of 1 minus gamma into T power gamma is equals to constant. This is the equation of what? Is the point clear? Simple only. You should understand. It's simple only, right? You can write adiabatic process for pressure and volume like this. But if you want to write this equation for pressure and temperature, what is the equation now? P to the power of 1 minus gamma into T to the power of gamma is equals to constant. Is this concept clear? This is also the equation of adiabatic process only, but for what variables? For pressure and temperature. Pressure is not same variable, pressure is one factor. If one more thing is temperature, pressure is not 1, it is 1 minus gamma. You should get this difference. Simple thing only. I just want, if in any question, if you are coming across this equation, you should not say that you don't know this equation. If you have P to the power of 1 minus gamma to the power of gamma is equals to constant, what does it mean? P1 to the power of 1 minus gamma, T1 to the power of gamma is equals to P2 to the power of 1 minus gamma, T to the power of gamma. You can write this equation. If you have PV power gamma is equals to common, P1 V1 power gamma is equals to P2 V2 power gamma. Yeah, Lavanya says clear, Tabassum clear. Very good. Simple thing only. I just want you people to know this kind of equations also. We have written equation for only one, but if it is there for some other parameters, now you can write for third combination also. Three combinations are possible because there are three things P, V and T. Now can anybody tell me which one you need to write for third one? First one you have written for P and V. Second you have written for P and T. Now third one is meant for what? PV is done, PT is done. Left is what? Third parameters. Two more things to be written. Waiting for answers. PV power gamma is done. Second one is P to the power of V and T. Manasa answered. Very good. You have to now write equation for V and T. What does it know? Pravalika also answered. Right. What does it mean now? If PV power gamma is equals to constant, what is that I want now that equation for? V and T means what has to be removed here? We want to write for V and T. Do I need to remove V or do I need to remove P from this? You can write in the same process. Since PV is equals to nRT, now you want to write that equation in terms of what? V and T. So V should be there, P should be eliminated. Accordingly, P to be removed. What is that we do? P is equals to T by V. Right? If you use P is equals to T by V, what it becomes? T by V times of V power gamma is equals to K, or T to the power of 1, because if nothing is there, it is said to be 1, or V to the power of minus 1, V to the power of gamma, because V when it goes to numerator, it becomes V inverse, it is minus 1, V gamma is, so this is equals to constant, or T times of V power gamma minus 1 is equals to constant, T V power gamma minus 1. Yes or no? Three equations you should know. Adiabatic process is governed by PV power gamma is one form, or PT power like this is one form, or TV power gamma minus 1 is one form. T1 V1 gamma minus 1 is equals to T2 V2 gamma minus 2. When do we use that equation? When do we use T1 V1 to the power of gamma minus 1 is equals to T2 V2 to the power of gamma? When do we use this equation? He says in the question that there is an monoatomic gas which is undergoing adiabatic process from initial volume to a final volume of, from initial volume of 1 liter to a final volume of 10 meters at a temperature of 10 degrees. What could be the final temperature to achieve that final volume? He says monoatomic gas, gamma value is given, initial volume is given, final volume is given, one temperature is given. You need to find the other temperature. Or two temperatures would be given. Now there are four parameters, four unknown things. Three could be given, fourth is to be identified for one kind of a gas, such as either a monoatomic, diatomic, triatomic, polyatomic. For all these all this kind of gases, gamma values would be given. He says in the question one kind of a gas or gamma value is given. Out of four, three would be given, fourth is to be identified. Same is the case with this one. Gamma, altogether three things. 3 becomes 5, altogether 5 terms. P1, 1 to the power of minus gamma, T to the power of gamma is equal to P2, T2. In that way, you can hopefully got these points. Right? Right? You should remember these equations. You should know these equations. If at all at any point of time we come across that kind of an equation, you should not be confused thinking that we don't know that. Yes or no? Adiabatic process, three equations, we should be clear enough. Now we'll talk about the last part, that is second law of thermodynamics. Fine. What is the second law of thermodynamics? This says that there are two statements what we give for this one. Or let me just brief up. This is the reverse process of heat engine. And we don't have this concept of heat engine in this academic year. It says that reverse process of heat engine is not possible. What is second law of? There are different statements in the form of Clausius statement or Kelvin statement. We'll define those two statements, but before going to the statements, we should know that it is a reverse process of what this second law says, that it states that reverse process of heat engine is not possible. What it says that reverse process of heat engine is not possible. Now, since this part is not there, now we cannot say what is the heat engine is. Now we should have some basic knowledge on this heat engine. What is a heat engine? Right? If you know the basic concept of a heat engine, then you say the reverse process of heat engine. If heat engine is possible, but reverse condition of heat engine is not possible, is the second law of thermodynamics. Heat engine is very much possible. Is the concept clear? What is second law of thermodynamics? I'll just brief up. First of all, we have not given any statements. We are just defining. To understand this, you should know what a heat engine is. This heat engine I'm going to define now. If you know what, try to understand this. If you know what heat engine is, then we define second law of thermodynamics as reverse process of heat engine is not possible. Hopefully this basic point is clear. Yes or no? Second law of thermodynamics states that the reverse process of heat engine is not possible. Right? I'm repeating. Second law of thermodynamics states that, yeah, Rishita and Nikita, they say yes, sir, right. Second law of thermodynamics states that reverse process of heat engine is not possible. Now, before going to reverse process, let us first understand what is the actual process of heat engine. If you know, yeah, thermal energy converts into mechanical energy. That is what heat engine, right? Yeah. Now, let us first understand what is this heat engine is. Heat engine is that device which converts heat energy into mechanical work. Heat energy is converted into mechanical work. What is mechanical work? These heat engines are the one which you are making use in our bikes. The engine what is present in the bike is nothing but a heat engine, which runs with the help of heat, which executes, which functions with the help of heat engine. Or a heat engine, the initial first heat engine was the engine what is taken in a train, which runs with the help of coal. By burning the coal, heat is generated. That heat is used to convert into the motion of the train or the engine. That is what the heat engine, right? You know, every vehicle such as bike or car or bus or lorry, any kind of a wheeler which runs with petrol or fuel may definitely have heat engine with that. There are engines present in the bikes, you know, basic part. Or that engine is what we call it as heat engine. What is a heat engine now? It is defined as heat engine is a device which converts thermal energy. Heat energy is nothing but thermal energy. Heat engine is a device which converts thermal energy into mechanical work done. From one place to other. How are you moving? Now moving from one place to other place is a mechanical work what you are doing. Moving from one place to the other place is called Adnan, heat to energy, right? Moving from one place to other place is a mechanical work. What is a fan doing in our rooms? It is converting electrical energy into mechanical energy. It is giving us mechanically air. It is converting electrical energy. It is making use of current and it is converting. But these bikes, they are not making use of current. They are making use of what? They are making use of the fuel elements given to this, right? Manasa, very good. So heat energy is that device which converts, heat engine is that device which converts heat energy or thermal energy into mechanical work done. Now, there is some kind of schematic diagram how this consists of a system surrounded by two different bodies of different temperatures, T1 and T2. System can be any kind of a gas or fuel elements, petrol, diesel, kerosene. System consists of some kind of a fuel elements inside that. These fuel elements has the ability to burn, because what they should generate? They should generate some kind of heat energy. How can you get heat energy? Some kind of heating element in the form of a fuel, right? Once this is heated up, it is surrounded by two different temperatures. Usually two different temperatures, one would be hotter body, other would be colder body. One would be hotter body. These two are not interacting with each other. Hot body and cold body are not interacting directly with each other, but these two are interacting with what? These two are interacting with the system. Now what this system will do is that heat engine is that mechanism which absorbs the amount of heat from a body of higher temperature. This is now going to absorb the amount of heat from a body of higher temperature, and it transfers that amount of heat to the body of lower temperature. It takes that energy and it gives that energy to this, and when it is doing, it is going to do some kind of work. In order to transfer from one place to other place, some transfer of energy is taking place. This system should do some work. That work, by connecting to some kind of external pistons, we can convert that into the mechanical energy, mechanical work done. Right, motor, right, electric motor. Lakshmana, wood in the system, wooden block can produce heat when burned. What about wood in the system? Wooden block also produce heat when, yeah, it is also there. What is coal? What is coal engine? Earlier we say that coal is used to run the engines. How that coal is generated? Nothing but wood itself. Now what kind of thing we actually prefer for wood? What kind of thing we prefer for system? In a system, what should be there? Just think mechanical, think logical and try to answer this. We can use paper also, right? Paper also burns, wood also burns, plastic also burns, fuel also burns. Why? Which one is preferred in this now? Many things are there which can burn, right? Yes or no? Simple thing. Many things have the ability. Cloths will burn, silk will burn, fiber will burn. All the things have the ability to burn. Now the question is, what kind of things should be enclosed inside the system? Should be taken inside this system. What kind of thing should be taken inside this system? We take that kind of a thing which has less pollution effects, which should not cause some other effects on the society. You can take anything, but that should be, first of all, that should be available at lesser cost. It should be available plenty in things. How, from, if it is wood, for how much of wood we can bring? If it is cloth, how much of cloth we can bring? If it is paper, from where we can arrange the cloth? Now how many vehicles are running on the roads? All are heat engines only. And how much, if you say wood or paper or something else, like how much we need to get that one? So accordingly, to make this system to run properly, now one kind of a fuel element has been identified in the form of petrol and diesel. These are available in plenty, that these are generated or manufactured in such a way that they make use of fuels. Now anything, no, it depends, like I think that is also recorded, Deva. Shit. So what is that? Anyways, heat engine is that device which consists of a system filled with some kind of fuel element. Fuel element which is having the capacity to burn. You're all listening, right? You're able to listen? No difference in the voice, I suppose. Can I get any response from you? Yeah, fine. That's good. That's good. Yeah, got it. So what is that? Heat engine is that device which extracts some amount of heat from a body of higher temperature. This is actually not burned directly. This is not burnt directly. It is burnt with the help of this thing what is present in the higher temperature. It absorbs that, and it that fuel element will burn. Now this will create some ignition. This will make the system to burn. That burning will create some kind of thermal energy. That thermal energy, because of high temperatures, has ability. These two are in contact. This is higher temperature contact with lower temperature. What happens from the principle of calorimetry? It now transfer. Sir, are you speaking? Yes, Lakshman Nayak, I am speaking now. Lakshman Nayak, I am speaking. Hope you are able to listen. I got a call, so a little disturbance would be there, but that would have been settled by this time. Fine. So let's just conclude the things. Heat engine is that device which is converting thermal energy into mechanical energy. How it is doing that? It is now incorporated in such a way that it is interacting with two things of two bodies. It has got two surroundings. System will have surroundings. It has got two surroundings. One is made at high temperature, other is made at low temperature. These two are not directly in contact with each other. This can interact with this, absorb the amount of heat, and it transfers some amount of heat to the next part. While doing that, it is able to do some kind of work. Now, if it is absorbing an amount of energy Q1 and it is giving an amount of energy to this Q2, how much is the change taking place here? It is taking Q1, giving Q2. Now, that Q1 minus Q2 is the thing what has been called as difference. How much is left is been now taking the form of amount of work done. And this should undergo what kind of process? This should always undergo a cyclic process. It should repeat that path continuously. It should repeat that work done process continuously. It should not do only one time work. It should work for a long time. Engines, bike engines or car engines, are they working only for one time or are they working for longer times? Voice is not audible. Is it same for all? Seema Tabassum says my voice is not audible because I got a call, so I got some disturbance. It's clear, right? Now it would have been fixed because initially I got the call. You will get some disturbance. Now the call is hanged up, so no much disturbances. Just restart or just wait for a while, you'll get it. So what is that? Yeah, clear. Everyone says clear, right? So what is that? Heat engine is that device which extracts the amount of heat from a body of higher temperature. Remember like this, that is efficient. What is that? Heat engine is that device which converts thermal energy into mechanical energy. How it is doing that? It is doing in such a way that this consists of a system which is filled with some kind of a fuel elements. These fuel elements are interacting with the bodies of different temperatures, and this system will undergo a cyclic process. Being cyclic process makes the system to do more amount of work continuously. If it is not cyclic process, it does work only for one time and next time it won't be operated. If your bikes are not undergoing cyclic process, what will happen? That will be used only for one time. The moment you start, the moment you go, and when you stop it there, the next time it won't work. That is what doing work in non-cyclic manner. Cyclic manner, for some point of time, it extracts the amount of heat from the body of higher temperature, and during the second half cycle, during the first half cycle, it extracts. During the second half cycle, it gives. While giving this, how much change is left over? That is being taken in the form of mechanical work done. Again, since it is cyclic process, it comes back to this: takes, does some work, gives the balance. Takes, does some work, and gives the balance to this. In that way, this phenomena is going place continuously. This is a who are getting problem, just rejoin again. That's fine. So, is the basic concept heat engine clear? You have depth analysis also for heat engines. It is not needed at this stage. It is difficult to teach the entire concept of heat engine in online mode. Is it clear? Is it clear what is heat engine now? What is heat engine? Clear, sir. Yeah. Heat engine is a device. Remember like this. Heat engine is a device which extracts heat from a body of higher temperature. Yes or no? It is taking from high temperature, giving to lower temperature. Heat engine is that device which extracts the amount of heat from higher temperature and gives it to the lower temperature. This is heat engine, which is a basic concept. Now, to understand second law of thermodynamics, we say reverse of heat is not possible. What does it mean? Reverse of heat engine is not possible. What is actual of heat engine? Extracting heat from higher temperature, giving to lower temperature. What is the reverse of this? Taking from lower temperature, giving to higher is not possible. That's fine, Nikhil, good. Low to high is not possible. Reverse of heating. This is called a second law of thermodynamics. Simple. Second law of thermodynamics states that it is impossible for any system to extract heat from a body of lower temperature and pass it to the higher temperature. As simple as it is, two bodies of higher temperature are different bodies are interacting, heat always transfers from high to low. Reverse of that is not possible is the concept of thermodynamics, second law of thermodynamics. Is the concept clear? Is the basic ideology clear behind the second law of thermodynamics? Second law of thermodynamics states that the reverse process of heat engine is not possible, which means that it is impossible to it is impossible for any engine to extract the amount of heat from cold body and transfer it to the hot body. Now we put this into different forms. Now one more just to recap of the previous part itself. We say that we had a system in heat engine. In heat engine, we had a system, and system is interacting with what? System is interacting with hot body and cold. Just concentrate on this for a while. System is interacting with hot and cold bodies, whereas what it is doing, it is extracting the amount of heat Q1 from a body of higher temperature, and it is giving some amount of heat Q2 to a body of lower temperature. This is high temperature. This is low temperature. In other words, this is a hot body or this is a cold body. Just concentrate for a while. This is actual process of heat engine. Heat engine consists of a system which extracts the amount of heat from a hot body and gives it, absorbs the amount of heat from hot body and gives it to the body at lower temperatures. While doing this, some part has been lost during this change, that is been now taken in the form of work done. This work done by connecting this one to piston or some kind of chain element to the wheels, you can make use of this one to move. Since this is undergoing cyclic process, this is called as the what all the work you are getting here can be utilized for the mechanical work done. This is the basic outline of a heat engine. Now, why I had taken this again is that there are two specified names given to this. This is the body at higher temperature is called as there is a specified name for this. The body at higher temperature is called as sink, and the body at lower temperature is called as reservoir. You should know these two things. Higher temperature body is called as sink, lower temperature body is called as system. Sorry, reservoir. Higher temperature body is also called as, there are different names, high temperature, hot body or sink. Low temperature, cold body, reservoir. These are the names given to high temperature bodies and low temperature. You should know this. This is called as sink. This is called as a system is absorbing amount of heat from the sink and giving it to the reservoir. System is absorbing amount of heat from the sink and giving it to the reservoir. Opposite of this is not possible. What does it mean? System, it is impossible for any system to extract the amount of heat from reservoir and give it to the sink. Going in this way is not possible. Is the concept clear? If you use these two words, then that is called as Kelvin-Planck statement. There are two statements given for second law. Only statements we need, nothing else we need. Only statements we need. What the statement of Planck now states? First statement is called as second law of thermodynamics is given by two statements. First of its statement is called as Kelvin-Planck statement. Kelvin-Planck statement states that no process is possible. There is no such process. Any process is not. No process is possible. What should be the result of that process? Which process is not possible? Whose sole result? Whose sole means single, only one. Whose entire, whose only result, whose sole result is the absorption of heat from reservoir and converting that into work. You should put it in this form. This is the way how we put the statement. No process is possible whose sole result is. This is common for both the statements. We should put it like this one. There is no process which is possible. Which process is not possible? The result of that process is that Conversion of heat is the absorption of heat energy from reservoir or sink, from a reservoir, from a, so if you know what is a reservoir, then only it is easy, otherwise you will not understand what it is. What is reservoir? A body at lower temperature is being regarded as a reservoir. A body at higher temperature is being regarded as a sink. Now the statement, Kelvin Planck statement states that no process is possible whose sole result is the absorption of heat from a reservoir. Is it possible to absorb a heat from the reservoir? Answer me now. Is it possible to absorb the heat from a higher body, lower body to a higher body? Not possible. That itself has been put in this form. Statement wise, it is appearing different, but the concept is simple. We put it in this form statement only. They define, they put it in this form. No process is possible whose sole result is the absorption of heat from a reservoir, and what they have to do if it is absorbing, what it is not possible, and complete conversion from heat to work is not possible. Complete, or simply can say conversion. It is not possible to absorb from cold body, yes or no? From conversion to work. From heat to work. Heat to work. This is what the first statement. Kelvin Planck, this is what the first form of what? Second law. This is called as second law of thermodynamics, first statement. Kelvin Planck statement. Now, so you should define, that's it. Nobody will ask you, now we don't have any exam, nobody will ask to define it or whatever. But you should know how they put it in this, how you are putting it out. The concept clear? Can you define this now? No process is possible whose sole result is the absorption of heat from a reservoir and complete conversion of heat into work. This is what he says in this entire thing he is saying, but he says it is not possible. No process is possible. He is saying something here. Absorption of heat from a reservoir and conversion from heat to work. Is this possible or not? It says that it is, you can simply say it is not possible to convert from reservoir to, that is a simple thing. But they put it in this specified form, you should write like this. Is the concept clear? What is Kelvin Planck statement? Kelvin Planck statement. Next one we have Clausius statement. These are the names of the scientists. These are the names of the scientists. Yeah, simple. Only thing is that understanding the concept is Clausius statement. It is simple to understand. It is also in the same form. No process is possible whose sole result is the absorption of heat from cold body and to transfer it to the hot body. Simple thing. Clausius statement is what? She says that same thing. No process is possible. No process is possible whose sole result is, whatever whose sole result is, like wholesale, right? Retail and wholesale. But whose sole means whose unique result is only possible result is, whose unique result is the transfer of heat from where to where? From where to where is not possible? From colder body to simple form. Colder body to hotter body. Simple statement. Is the concept clear? There are two. Second law of thermodynamics, same. Yeah, it's the same. Lavanya says same, sir. It's the same, but putting in different form. No process possible whose sole result is the transfer of heat from cold body to hot body. Is it possible cold to hot? Not possible. Cold has got other name is what? Reservoir. Hotter body has got other what? Sink. It is not possible to convert energy from reservoir. If it transfers to sink, then conversion of heat to work is possible. Not transferring, it is not possible. I'm just recapping these two definitions like this. Kelvin Planck statement says that no process is possible whose sole result is the absorption of heat from a reservoir and conversion of heat into work. This is not possible. Clausius statement states that no process is possible whose sole result is the transfer of heat from a colder body to a hotter body. This is nothing but simply the forms of reverse of heat engine only, yes or no? So in order to understand the second law, we should know what a heat engine. We have defined that heat engine, what it absorbs energy from a hotter body, give it to the colder body. By doing this mechanism, it does some kind of mechanical work. We utilize that work to our mechanical forms by connecting to the external things. In a bike also, heat engine is a system, engine of the bike which will be filled up with petrol. Petrol goes to engine oil is there, and it is surrounded by some two kind of bodies. That as ignition is created, that energy is converted, that engine is taking some transferring of heat, it is doing in between two bodies. While doing that, it is undergoing a cyclic process. By connecting that one to the piston, that piston starts moving like this round. That piston is now connected using a chain to the wheels. That wheels are now doing some kind of mechanical work. So this is all about the second law of thermodynamics. Hope you understand this. Now I wish you people to go through the definition of these two statements as is. And with this, the concept of thermodynamics is completed. And any other numerical things, any other things, what you want, we can discuss mechanically whenever it is needed. I'll be always available to clarify your doubts. And in our next class, we are going to start our next chapter. That is the last chapter, which is kinetic theory of gases. So I'll just, thank you for joining us. See you in the next class.